A lot has changed in the crypto world over the last few years. Gone are the days when mining was the only way to earn a somewhat passive income. And with the environmental concerns now surrounding this method, it's no surprise that investors have turned to yield farming instead. But what are the best cryptocurrencies to farm at the moment? And which yield farms can be relied on? For all this and more, stay tuned. First up, AV farming. AV token and Tether. For those of you who don't know, the most popular yield farms around right now make use of the automated market makers, also otherwise known as AMMs, to increase the amount investors earn through farming. Essentially speaking, this allows digital assets to be traded automatically on a permissionless basis by using liquidity pools in place of the traditional exchange of selling and buying. And when it comes to yield farming, one protocol has been making a fair share of waves over the last couple of weeks. We are, of course, referring to AV, which is a non-custodial liquidity protocol that specializes in the borrowing of digital assets. Suffice to say, this is the best yield farm available at the moment for newcomers to the industry and allows users to deposit their assets as collateral. From there, the decision can be made to either borrow other cryptos against the deposited assets or instead leave them in the pool and collect on the passively earned income. It's really as easy as that. And when it comes to benefits, AV has them all. Borrowers can, for example, alternate between fixed and variable interest rates with ease. Since the protocol is based on the Ethereum blockchain, there are more than a few digital currencies applicable to it. In fact, around 20 of the leading altcoins can be deposited on AV. So without further ado, let's take a look at some of the best cryptos to farm on the protocol. Next, the tokens you should be looking into. First of all, it's important to note that AV doesn't really work unless you have some AV tokens of your own to offer as collateral. So when it comes to digital farming, this is definitely a good option to have in your back pocket. Remember, as more AV tokens are given as collateral, borrowing limits are raised. And when more AV tokens float across the crypto space, the value of these tokens will rise to new extremes. As of right now, these tokens are up by around 202%, which isn't at all bad considering how investors are still waking up to the brilliance of crypto farming. This is far from the only digital asset you should be looking at though. Another incredible option is Tether, which is a premium altcoin that really shines when it comes to making payments both online and in the real world. You see, since Tether is one of the least volatile cryptos out there at the moment, quite a few investors have made it a part of their digital portfolios. It's a fiat collateralized stablecoin after all, and while it's true that you won't become a millionaire by investing in a crypto like Tether, there's no doubt that this is one of the safest options on the crypto exchange. Suffice to say, this makes for a great farming investment. With its market capitalization now sitting at around 61.8 billion US dollars, you won't want to miss out on the opportunity to earn more passively. Next is Uniswap farming, DGTX. Another incredible farming protocol you should be looking into right now is Uniswap, which is by far the leading decentralized exchange on the Ethereum network. Like AV, Uniswap makes use of the same AMM method we mentioned earlier, and as such allows for users to trade and swap various digital assets with ease. The platform also makes use of a number of complicated algorithmic equations with the intention of balancing the liquidity of its various pools. Suffice to say, this allows for the borrowing experience to remain stable, and when it comes to the crypto exchange, stability is something users shouldn't be passing up on. Another massive bonus that comes with Uniswap is the sheer number of assets that users can make use of. Since there are so many options to choose from, it shouldn't surprise you to hear that yields generated are quite large. It also helps that Uniswap doesn't have its own token to rely on. You see, because of this, each liquidity pair is represented by a unique ERC20 token instead. This means that all fees, which amount to about 0.3% per trade, are added to the liquidity pool, bumping the value up as more transactions are made. In other words, the more peers you have farming alongside you, the more interest you'll earn in the long run. Quite a brilliant methodology, if we do say so ourselves. It's really no wonder Uniswap is doing rather well at the moment. Now the token you should be looking at. As we mentioned earlier, Uniswap has no native token to rely on, but that's all right, as there are more than a few cryptos on offer that have massive farming potential in connection with the protocol. A great example of an up-and-coming cryptocurrency you should be paying attention to right now is DGTX, which some might remember as being the native token of the Digitex platform. But what makes this crypto so desirable when it comes to the Uniswap protocol? Well, as it turns out, the creators of the token have struck a bit of a deal with the protocol, allowing for around 5 million GTX tokens to be added to the liquidity pool each and every month. In other words, you don't have to rely on friends and family to farm alongside you. Because of the secured addition of tokens each and every month, there's zero risk of earning a lackluster interest rate. But that's not all. If Uniswap users contribute DGTX tokens for at least 30 days on the protocol, rewards offered are multiplied by 3 times in an effort to maximize gains. In other words, you'll want to invest for at least a month in order to really take advantage of what Uniswap's DGTX pool has on offer. Digitex also allows allows users to create an account and learn more about their cryptocurrency without having to invest any money first. So if there's an altcoin you wanted to investigate free of charge, this is definitely the way to go in the future. Next up, SushiSwap, Sushi, and Ethereum. And then we have SushiSwap, an Ethereum-based protocol that's primarily known for its decentralized exchange, but actually offers some great options when it comes to yield farming. As it turns out, the platform has expanded its range by introducing a number of lending, staking, and yield farming solutions, each of which have their own benefits in the long run. That being said, SushiSwap isn't exactly the platform for you if you're a beginner in the crypto world. But as far as novices and veterans of industry are concerned, it remains one of the best platforms on which to make money. In the realm of yield farming, SushiSwap has liquidity pool options on over 1,000 pairs in total, and this number is consistently growing as more users experience the passive earning capacity of yield farming in general. Funny enough, users are able to stake their sushi tokens and return for X sushi, which can then be used to trade with other Ethereum-based protocols. But if you consider yourself a yield farmer, you'll stay far away from the staking opportunities and instead look in the direction of what SushiSwap calls its bento box. It's here that users are able to take advantage of highly competitive yield on popular digital assets. And as it turns out, there are even some stablecoin pairings to choose from. Suffice to say, SushiSwap is a definite option for yield farming. But which tokens should you be using? Now, the tokens you should be looking at. As we mentioned earlier, Sushi is always a great option when it comes to yield farming now that SushiSwap has jumped on the bandwagon. As the native coin of SushiSwap, there's no doubt that the cryptocurrency is incredibly useful on the platform. And as was the case with the AV token, this means that there is a greater chance to earn more by holding onto the altcoin as best you can. By yield farming with the crypto and earning interest thereon in the process, you're basically holding with extra steps while earning more in the process. So as time goes by, you won't only be holding onto more sushi, the coin will also be worth a lot more than it was when you first started your yield. But that's not the only altcoin you should be looking at. Another brilliant option is Ethereum, which is still considered to be the second largest crypto on the market right now. And while Ether is worth quite a bit at the moment, its value is going to undoubtedly grow in the next few years, with some experts expecting it to overtake Bitcoin in the midst of the mining conundrum that the crypto is currently facing. Either way, you'll be in good company with both Sushi and Ethereum, so go ahead and yield. And there you have it, some of the best cryptos to farm instead of buy, as well as the various yield farms used to do this. What tokens on your radar at the moment though? And will you be trying your hand at yield farming? Be sure to let us know in the comments section down below.